So we're caught up in drama. Everybody's talking, we're caught up in problem. Everybody's talking.
Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I'm Forbidden Figure World, and it's the second week of May, so that means it is movie reviews. And today, it'll be on Avengers Infinity War. Yes, it's been out for a couple weeks now, and I thought it'd be time to review it. I have seen it twice, so it's still near. So yeah, let's get into it. So the film revolves around the character or villain called Thanos. He wants to get all 6 Infinity Stones so he can wipe out half the universe to balance it. So the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and literally everybody else in the MCU has to stop him before he can do it. So, this movie, I don't know where to begin. I absolutely love this film. It has to be my favourite MCU film of all time. It beats Thor Ragnarok. It beats Winter Soldier. It beats Civil War. Those movies were awesome, but this movie was just insane. I cannot describe how I was feeling after the film. Honestly, it was just a roller coaster of emotions. The start of the film, before I actually get into actually reviewing the movie, there will be spoilers in this film or in this review. So if you have not seen Avengers Infinity War, please click off this video if you do not want it spoiled. So if you've already seen the film, let's do it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Loki dies in the first 10 minutes of the film. Okay, I was not expecting this at all. I went with a couple of friends and we just sat in awe after what happened. So it basically starts off at the end of the post-credit scene from Thor Ragnarok. Thanos has basically invaded the ship and basically killed half of Asgard. Because it's not a place, it's people. So, they're fighting, and yeah, Loki died in the first 10 minutes. Basically what he tries to do, he tries to give the Tesseract to Thanos, but you know, being a trickster, he basically tricks him, and the Hulk and them have a fight, which I'll get more into later. But he ends up dying at the hands of Thanos by basically strangling, or I think it was snap his neck, I don't know. But yeah, him and Heimdall both die in the first 10 minutes of the film, which is surprising. I thought Loki was actually going to survive the entire film and maybe die in Avengers 4. But apparently not, as Thanos says, no resurrections this time. So yeah, before that even happens, before Heimdall dies, he summons the Bifrost and brings Hulk back to Earth. After he just gets demolished by Thanos, he literally gets knocked out in 5 seconds. It was brutal. So he ends up going back to Earth after all that happens, and he uses Thanos gets him getting the the space stone and teleports away as he destroys the ship. So basically everybody's dead. Well, half of Asgard, I guess. But this then leads into the Sanctum Sanctorum, where Doctor Strange and Wong meet Hulk. He basically crash lands through the Sanctum Sanctorum, just like in the comics, and basically talks to Doctor Strange about who Thanos is and what he is doing. So Doctor Strange brings in Iron Man after he has to talk with Pepper. And yeah, this basically starts off Infinity War. He basically Thanos brings his children, 2 of them, Ebony Maw and Black Dwarf or Cull Obsidian, and they, Wong, Doctor Strange, Iron Man and Spider-Man both have a battle in New York, which was awesome. You finally get to see more Spider-Man web swinging, which was awesome. He basically comes in and like jumps down and grabs his hammer, or Call Obsidian's one, and goes, "Hey, Mr. Stark, how you doing?" Which is awesome because he's only a kid. He's pretty much the same age as me, and I would probably do the same thing too. But yeah, oh yeah, and Iron Man has a brand new armor. It's the Mark 50. It's kind of like the Bleeding Edge armor, which I think was awesome because he had like a hoodie on, and then he like pulled the strings, and it would just went tighter, and he pressed the arc reactor, and it just went all across him like a symbiote. That was pretty cool. But when it goes further on, I just could not believe what I was watching, because this film just takes you on a giant roller coaster. The three acts were terrifying. They were amazing. Thor getting his hammer, or the new axe, Stormbreaker. Me and my friend basically just sat in our seats in awe as he finally comes back to Earth. That's like one of my favourite things in the entire movie, is Thor. Just the character of Thor in Infinity War is better than he has ever been. Thor Ragnarok basically revived that character, and now seeing him in Infinity War made me just sit there and just in awe. He finally gets a hammer and becomes Thor. He becomes the god again after everything he has lost. Everything from Asgard, his mum, his dad, Loki, his sister, half of his people. It finally feels awesome to see him wield his axe. Stormbreaker has to be one of my favourite weapons in the entire MCU. It's that awesome. I just cannot believe what happened through the entire film. And the battle on Wakanda, jeez, that has to be one of the best bit in the entire movie. That battle on Wakanda made me feel happy. I haven't seen Black Panther yet, and it made me feel like I just love that character now. Even though I saw him in Civil War, yes, but not that much. He got his own movie, and now he's in Infinity War, fighting alongside Captain America, Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, and Vision. Like, when you see these things, you want them to be good. We all were thinking, how is this film going to play out? When I saw it the first time, I absolutely loved it. It's just amazing. Now, one of my favourite parts. This has to be the favourite part out of any comic book fan. Finally, the Battle of Titan was almost as good as the battle on Wakanda. You basically had Mantis, Star-Lord, Drax, you had Doctor Strange, you had Iron Man, you had Spider-Man, and they were all using their own powers to combat Thanos and beat him down, which plays into the next bit we'll talk about in a minute. So, they all used their powers to subdue Thanos for a while, as Doctor Strange uses his powers to basically hold him back down, and Mantis goes on top of his head and uses her powers to put him to sleep, I guess. And Tony and Spider-Man both try and remove the gauntlet. Now, this is where it gets awesome. It goes in to say that Nebula, Mantis says that he's in pain, that he's mourning, and you know what he's talking about from the previous 25 to 30 minutes ago. Star-Lord is sitting there thinking, I finally beat you, we're better than you. And when he finds out who he's talking about, it's powerful. And yes, people said what he did was just annoying, but I can feel him. And what happened was Gamora dies. Yes, Gamora dies at the hands of Thanos because he needed to get the Soul Stone, and how you get that stone is you have to sacrifice one thing you love the most. And that scene, and like that entire scene where Gamora dies, it plays out. Like, you think that Thanos is this monster who wants to destroy and end the world. When you see him looking at Gamora, you finally realize that that's not what he's about. Yes, he's a Titan. He's mad. That's why you call him the Mad Titan, but the way that the Russo brothers and Josh Brolin did was amazing, as he finally realizes he has to kill the one person he's loved the most for nearly his entire life, is his own daughter. Even though it's not her daughter, he killed them on her home planet. That's just emotional for us, because Gamora finally realizes what he means, as the gatekeeper, who I'll talk about later on, says that Thanos' tears wasn't for himself, it was for Gamora. So he takes her hand and throws her off a cliff, and finally he gets the Soul Stone. That scene alone was amazing. It was emotional. It just shows you, yes, he's a bad guy. He wants to destroy everything, but it shows that he's doing this for a reason. Seeing that in the cinemas was awesome. And when Star-Lord finally finds out, he just snaps. He's begging for Thanos to say that's not what he's talking about. It's, Star-Lord is the reason the Avengers lost. The entire human race lost because of Star-Lord. And we can all see why. I mean, after everything that's happened to him, as well as Thor, you can kind of feel for the character, as he's lost the woman he's loved dearly. Even when Gamora says, if he ever gets me, kill me, he can't do that because he loves her too much. And just seeing that on Titan, where Thanos is just upset. Yes, he's upset, but he has to go on. He has the Soul Stone. And the way that the entire last act plays out, it's really upsetting, as at the battle of after he finishes on Titan, he gets the Time Stone at the hands of Doctor Strange. You see, in the film, Tony Stark is battling Thanos, and Thanos is beating down on him using his Power Stone, using his Reality Stone, and he destroys Iron Man's new armor. And he finally makes the wee sword that you see. He tries to slash Thanos, but he breaks it off and stabs him in the stomach. Seeing that play out, and seeing the one who started it all almost die, is terrifying. And Doctor Strange finally realizes that this isn't about the stones. It's about winning, having each other together. As he went through different realities, he went through like 1405, I think, and only saw that the entire race only has one win against them. And people are saying that Tony is part of this. That's why Doctor Strange sacrificed the Time Stone, was that he sees that Tony Stark may be the hero. So after he gets the stone, he finally moves on to get the last stone, which is the Mind Stone. So he finally comes down, pretty much power. He's just the embodiment of power. He's eternal. And he finally goes up against the one, the only Vision. But one thing the last word that he ever said was to Scarlet Witch. After Thanos started coming, there was no other way to get the stone and destroy it. So he pleads with Scarlet Witch to say, kill me to save humanity. And you see that, and she starts to cry, and almost he starts to cry. And seeing them two make one last punch to try and defeat Thanos is heartbreaking. As he finally dies, Thanos goes and says, I know what it's like. But as you can see, his hand starts to turn, and it starts going backwards in time. He goes back to right before Vision dies, grabs him, and rips the stone out of his head. And at last, he finally has all 6 Infinity Stones. But not before Thor comes down and throws his axe at him and gets him right in the chest. That was awesome. As he says, I told you you'll die for this. He's like, Thanos is like mumbling, he's like on the floor, he's like wobbling, and he's trying to say something, and we want to know what he's saying. And he finally says, you should have gone for the head, and snaps his fingers. Seeing that in the film, how it plays out, is awesome. The one comic strip that everybody wanted to see in the film finally happens. As he snaps his fingers, humanity starts to die. Half of humanity is gone. And including some of the Avengers. Black Panther, Bucky Barnes, or the Winter Soldier, Groot, Star-Lord, Mantis, Drax, Falcon, Black Panther, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange all die at the hands of a snap. And it's the way that it plays out, as Captain America is wondering where he's disappeared to, and you can hear from all the way down there is Steve, and you see that his metal arm starts to disappear, turn to ash. That is probably the best ending to a film, as it's really heartbreaking. And yes, I did cry in the film. I know, I did cry, but as everyone started to die off, it was really heartbreaking. And I have to come to say Spider-Man was probably one of my favourites in the entire film, for this reason only: his death. After everyone has disappeared on Titan, it's only him and Tony left, and Nebula. As he's stumbling around, he says to Tony, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. Hearing that, saying, uh-oh, he's gonna die, isn't he? And he's like stumbling around, holding his stomach, and he's wondering, I don't know what's going on, and he's panicking. He's terrified, he's scared. He's only a teenager and he's dying. And he finally embraces Tony and says, I don't want to go. And that made me upset, because it's the way that Tom Holland portrayed it. Tom Holland made that scene more emotional than it could have actually been. He did an exceptional job. And apparently it was improvised, but I don't know. But all I can say is that Tom Holland was amazing. Now I had to get into the comedy. The comedy in this film was hilarious. I laughed at every bit there was. I have to say, congratulations to Dave Bautista. He has to be one of the best characters in Infinity War, as he was just hilarious. From saying, why is Gamora? And just before they go to find Thanos and go to nowhere, he's just sitting there eating nuts. Very, very slowly. And the entire cinema that I was at just laughed their asses off. It was that funny. And the chemistry between Thor and Rocket was awesome. It was just funny because, yes, Rocket's a raccoon. We all know that. But nobody can get that right. Mantis, yep, Mantis called him a dog, and now Thor is calling him a rabbit. Seeing that was hilarious, as they both like each other, and Rocket is the one to give him a new eye, and he says, you might want to watch that, it's bent up and it cuts, and he was meant to say it was up his ass, which was hilarious, as he just sticks it in his eye and he's like, oh yeah, I didn't watch that, it's not me, asshole. Like, that's what comedy actually feels like. Yes, it's a dark, disturbing film, but you can also have those light bits in it. So, overall, it's an amazing film. You have to go see it. It's the best MCU film. It all culminates here. Oh wait, I forgot to mention the post-credit scene. I almost forgot about that. It basically comes back to New York, and Maria Hill and Nick Fury, surprisingly, are just driving, and somebody cuts them off, and he goes, Maria, go check if they're okay. And there's nobody in there. And everyone starts to go mental, and there's a helicopter that crashes into a building, and they all realize what's going on. As Maria Hill starts to turn to ash, Nick rushes back to the car, grabs a wee phone thing, clicks it, and goes to ash. And as it drops, it's sending a wee message. It keeps sending, and it's sent, and up comes Captain Marvel's symbol. I am really excited for what Avengers 4 has to offer. Leaving it at a cliffhanger. Will she make the call? Will she come back? We don't know. We'll have to wait till next year. But yeah, overall, it's an amazing film. Yes, I did cry. Yes, I did laugh. And that's a good thing. This film shows you that you can have so many characters and only 2 hours and 40 minutes of cinema time. It can still work. Josh Brolin as Thanos did an amazing job. He has to be my favourite villain ever. You can see why he has to do all these things. Why he has to do the way he wants it. He wants to balance out the universe because he thinks if it keeps going on, everyone will die. So, I just have to give a big congratulations to everyone who worked on that film, as it basically made everyone feel happy, sad, and just a general lot of feelings, really. So, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below on what you thought of the film, if you've seen it, and tell me what your favourite part of the film was. If you want me to, I can go do more Marvel films for the next weeks that I have movie reviews. So yeah, make sure to share it with your friends, family, and anyone else. Also, make sure to subscribe. It means a lot to me. Also, make sure to click that bell icon so you never miss a video when I post. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and for being Figure World. I'll see you all in the next planet. Peace.
Yo!